Thank you. So we have some time for some general questions on that opening session or general questions about this weekend. I know you guys probably want to focus on a lot about the youth and government to youth in government. I'll open the floor to questions. There's a couple reasons that I was inspired for this name change. First of all, I want to say that when it was first proposed, like many delegates, I had a lot of reservations about it. I am extraordinarily connected to the name Youth and Government, but at the end of the day, if you look at our program at large, one thing we haven't done so well is had a sense of national identity. When you apply for college, and you do Model UN or mock trial, everyone knows what that is. Youth in government or youth and government, there's not that sense. Right now, there's about 38 states that have a youth in government program. About 80% of them are called youth in government. And I believe, first and foremost, we need to create a sense of national unity that can bring up recognition for our program and bring more delegates in, and so we can keep expanding and keep our message alive. So that's what my biggest inspiration to doing this was. The brightest part of this program's future is there's a couple things. Because one thing this program has always done so well is this sense of modeling government. And I mentioned in my speech that we're never going to get away from that. That's always going to be the center of who we are. The question is, can we expand just a little more? Can we get more involved in our communities? Can we get more involved in the decisions that affect all of our lives? And the answer is yes. You proved that this year, and it's been wonderful to watch the hours after hours of community service piled in. So what excites me most is that we're going to be able to take a great structure and a great program and put just a little more on it and help people just a little more. There's a lot of connection that myself and alumni have towards the name, but I believe there's this general recognition that we have to take this next step now, that we have to unify as a nation, and that no matter what we feel individually, we're not doing this for ourselves. I graduate at the end of this year. My term ends in a couple of days, and I'm very connected to youth in government, but the reason I support this legislation, the reason I think it needs to be done is for my brother who's in 9th grade and for the kids beyond him, and then my kids when they're in youth in government, so that we can kind of build this program that really is a body that helps. So I went back as far as I could in our archives, and as to talk to as many people as I could who've been involved with this program for a long time. And I found something about 60 years old that had the name Youth in Government in the Pennsylvania program. And then the most I could come about is that depending on the state director, there was some change between youth and government and youth in government, and there was never really a precedent set of why we were named what we are. And I think that's what's so special about this opportunity. We're using what we've always been taught, that problems are solved with democracy, and that when everyone's informed and can contribute to the decision, it's the best decision that can be made. And what we're doing is introducing a resolution to give us a reason for why we were named. And I think it's really amazing. This year, I think what's so special is there are so many. Each delegation has their greatest achievement. My delegation, I'm so proud of us for getting our entire school involved in a mayoral debate that we ran, and we filled a school auditorium to hear this debate, and all the questions were written by the kids in my delegation. All of the media outreach that we did was all done by youth and government delegates, and that was really a highlight of my year for my club. But what's so great about this year is that every single club has a story like that. Whether it's East Shore, Springfield, or Hershey, every club has a story about when their delegates and their delegation stepped up and achieved something greater. So I think that's the answer, is that you can go up to any delegate and they can tell a different one, and that's how many we've done this year.